What's up, everyone? This is Kendall, and this is day 8. Day 8 of 100 Days of Codes. So I'm coming at you on May Day, or Bank Holiday Monday, or whatever you want to call it, of a 3-day weekend. And obviously today's been Monday, so there's been absolutely no School of Code boot camp today, which has been a little bit sad, but hey, tomorrow we start back School of Code, the beginning of week 2. Hallelujah. Super excited about it. So that's tomorrow. But today, day 8 of 100 Days of Codes. So for those of you who have been keeping up with the videos or doing 100 Days of Code yourself, you'll know that the four golden rules of 100 Days of Code are: 1, you code 1 hour a day. Boom, nailed it. 2, keep yourself accountable publicly. Boom, nailed it. That's what I'm doing here. YouTube, Twitter, boom. 3, connect with the community of Twitter. Well, it is going on Twitter, so I'm connecting with that community. People retweet me, and I knew nothing about Twitter when I first started. So literally like 8 days ago, I knew 0 because I'd never used it before. Facebook was the extent of it, maybe a little bit Instagram. All right, rule 4 is to keep a daily log of my progress, which I've been doing for 8 days so far. 8 days. I'm going to do this for 100 days. And I made a decision to do that via video because I felt like it would be the best way of sort of capturing the moments, capturing my face, see if I'm tired or see if I'm sad or see if I'm crying, see if I'm weeping on the spot. Then you'll know the pain that I feel, the pain of coding. No, it is fantastic, but there is weeping involved sometimes. Tears come before the joy, tears of joy. Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself. So, day 8, 100 Days of Code. So what did I get up to today? So today, what I decided to get involved in is I said yesterday that I was going to start Code Wars. Code War. Sounds pretty awesome, right? And it pretty much is. So Code Wars is like this website you can go on, and when you go on, you sign up with your GitHub accounts. And GitHub, for those of you who don't know, is a version control system where you can keep track of all your code and all these sort of things. So with your username from that, you can log in. You can create an account with other ways, like just your email or whatever. But I linked it with my GitHub. And when you log in, it's pretty awesome. You can basically do this stuff called kata practice. And kata comes from the word from karate, where you practice a skill set over and over again, right? Deliberate practice, like we talked about yesterday. We spoke about yesterday, right? Deliberate practice. And I just want to do this for like emphasis, right? And so in this article that we read yesterday, right, it talked about following the same pattern, that deliberate practice is about breaking the overall process down into parts. And that's really what this Code Wars practice does. It breaks it down into parts. So you can choose the language that you want, and you can choose the level you're at. So in Kata world, in this Code Wars world, you have 8 KYU, 7 KYU, I think I'm saying that right. 6 KYU, 5 KYU, 4 KYU, 3, and it goes all the way to 1, right? So basically, the lower the number, the more complicated and hard the problem is. So you're basically figuring out how to solve a problem, right? And so we see that from our practice, our deliberate practice we're doing every day, this gives us good practice of this, right? Where we can just do deliberate practice and hone our skills. And we learned that deliberate practice also means identifying your weaknesses. So if you're not very good at something, you can use something like Code Wars. Maybe you're not very good at problem solving, which, I need to get better at. Or maybe I'm not good at functions, or maybe not good at whatever, need to learn more. Then I can identify their weakness, and that can test new strategies. The cool thing is, in each of the sections of Code Wars, is when you put in maybe you get to you've understood the problem, you've gone through the whole process of computational thinking, right? And you've come up with a solution, right? You've done your comments, you've broken down the problem, You've broken down again. You got to the bottom of that, right? Maybe you're at the stage where finally at the very end you got to coding, right? And what it does is whenever you complete a answer, you can test it, and then you can complete it, which is awesome. It's a great feeling because some of them take literally, you'll be there, right? And you'll be looking at this problem and be like, oh, this will take me like 2 minutes. And then it's like, have you seen those memes, right? Where say 1 hour later, it's like that. You'll be like, you think, I've got this cracked, I've understood the problem, and you'll get there. Literally, like what you thought was a 5 minute problem was a 30-minute problem. But we'll get better at this, right? We'll get better at this. We'll learn how to understand the problem. We'll understand how to get computational thinking, and it'll go faster, I'm sure. At least as I keep telling myself, helps me sleep at night. So the other part was he tests new strategies for each section. So once you put in your answer, at the end, then you can see other people's answers and see how good or maybe how different ways of going about it, right? The improvements that could be made to make it better or cleaner, or maybe yours is the clean one and you're like, gosh, I did a great job, right? Pat yourself on the back. So what else? Then you integrate your learning in your overall processes. So the great thing about that is that when you have understood the problem and then you've solved it in your way, right? Because there's many right answers in coding. That's one thing I've learned. There's not one right answer. There's many different answers, right? So just because you have come up with a solution doesn't make it the right answer. There can be many right answers, right? I'm not going to say that. All right, I'll say that. In the US, they have this expression. Maybe it's in the South, right? Maybe not in other parts, but in Texas, which sounds like a saying from Texas, they always say that there's more than one way to skin a cat. I know. It's grotesque. I know, animal rights, all those sort of things, but it just came to my head. It's a Texas saying, right? It's where I'm from. I'm from that neck of the woods sort of territory. They say things like that, right? Anyway, so integrate your learning into the overall process. So we did that with kata practice, right, on Code Wars. And today I did some practice on ones that gave us for the bank holidays, sort of from School of Codes. So one was doing even or odd, where basically you had to, I read it out for you. So you create a function that takes an integer as an argument and returns even for even numbers or odd for odd numbers, right? And that one was pretty awesome. There was one called multiply. We had to multiply two numbers together or two variables together, and then it returned the sum, right? And you had to call that function again. Things like that, which were really awesome. And literally the hour went like that. So I'm loving Code Wars. Code Wars is a great thing. I'm going to be, I think, addicted to it from now on. Hopefully not too addicted. But it's been a lot of fun. So I'm going to keep cracking away at that and getting better at that. If you haven't checked out yourself, you should check it out. It's super cool. Did a bit of that. And then also did a bit of, what else? Did a more free code camp, sort of working on some different things. Took a look at rock, paper, scissors again because it was the hackathon thing. So I took a look at some other answers and solutions of sort of how to go about it and different ways of sort of shorthand of creating functions and sort of just different ways you could do it. How to create more functions within that. And it was very fascinating. I actually watched after I did my hour, I watched a video of somebody who did a more complex one, and they were sort of breaking down the logic. And that's something, that I feel like for myself, when we let's get to the spot where we're talking about sort of, a daily log of my progress. So I feel like today, like sort of I did make progress. I feel like that, in the sense that I showed up for deliberate practice and actually did something, right? Sometimes it's not about like the fact that, you necessarily solved all the world's problems. But sometimes it's a matter of taking right action and just showing up. And that is the accomplishment for the day. So for me, it was like, all right, I'm testing some new things and I'm showing up and I'm taking right action. And so really that's progress, right? It's progress. And I'm finding new ways to problem solve. I feel really happy about that. Really, really happy that I'm creating these new habits. And actually, it's going to change every day. It's going to get better, right? Week by week, day by day. Even if it's 0.01%, it's still better. It's 0.001%. In 2 days, it's 0.002%, and it'll get better and better. And that's where we roll on from. Sort of my feelings, my feelings at the moment. You know what? It's no different. It feels like imposter syndrome. You feel like there's bits that I got, and there's bits like I'm like I don't know what I'm doing still, and like still a bit confused, and I don't really get it 100%. But one of the things I definitely know that I'm going to be looking at more, I think the real basis is understanding the logic and the reason why you're doing things, understanding the problem and breaking it down are really the most important things. And the rest will just come through practice and habits, right? Because once you understand the logic and the flow and sort of the way that it goes and what you're looking for and what you're hoping to accomplish, you understand the problem, I think it just comes together, right? And I have the great privilege as well of sort of after my hour of code, I dropped in, because today's been Bank Holiday Monday, so I've been with the kids, I've been with my wife, and we've been hanging out and doing all the stuff you do around the house, wash dishes and hoover, and all the joys that come with household living, changing nappies, all that good stuff. So yeah. Yay! So anyways, it's great. But yeah. With relation to School of Code, I'm excited to be starting again tomorrow. It's going to be great. Looking forward to the challenge. Also a little bit petrified in some ways, a little like, oh, what's going to come? But you know what? Here's the deal. Is anything worth doing is going to feel that way. So you just step out and keep going. And that's what we're going to do, right? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. We've taken our first step last week. Take number 2 this week, baby steps. I'm going to knock it out. We're going to get there. All right. Code Wars. So check it out. Anyways, feel the fear. Do it anyway, right? So, yeah. Anyways, it's Kendall. Day 8 of 100 Days of Code. Guys, tomorrow, boot camp. Boom. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the School of Code. So that's tomorrow, School of Code, excited, 9 a.m., back on the squats. My legs have recovered, so I'm ready for some squats. Let's squat it out, School of Squats. School of Squats, oh gosh, I'm losing my mind here. Getting cabin fever from all this coding. So anyways, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow on day 9, but signing out, day 8, have a great night. Happy May Day, happy Bank Holiday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.